G'day, it's fugitive Australian journalist Shane Dowling from the website kangaroocourtofaustralia.com. Now, the Federal Communication Minister, Michelle Rowland, has been caught receiving $19,000 in donations from Sportsbet. Now, you might say that's not illegal. Well, it's not illegal, but it's very, very dodgy. And it really leaves Prime Minister Anthony Albanese with no choice but to sack her, because she was given an opportunity to answer questions in relation to the conflict of interest, and she refused to do so. She ducked and weaved. So given that she's been given an opportunity to respond, she's ducked and weaved, well, she has to go. Now, Michelle Rowland received $19,000 in donation from Sportsbet before the 2022 election, and she's received donations from Tabcorp since, which included tickets to the Melbourne Cup and also a rugby game. And who knows, maybe she's received more donations of some sort or another. But if she wasn't caught out, a story in the Sydney Morning Herald on Thursday, the 9th of February 2023, she might have continued to take donations from either of them or both of them or others as well. Now, she's a minister overseeing a current inquiry into online betting. As Communications Minister, she oversees online betting, and also ACMA, which is Australian Communications Media Authority, which oversees obviously advertising, which the sporting industry spend a lot of money on. Now, I was surprised it showed up in the Sydney Morning Herald myself, because they raise a lot of money and a lot of revenue from sporting agencies or sports betting agencies by the fact that they promote the rugby league and they promote other sports, and they're reliant on big advertising from the online betting agencies. But I have to wonder if the likes of News Corp, who raise a lot of money from online betting and who have also themselves tried to invest in online betting, and also Seven West Media, who raise a lot of money from online betting, wonder if they'll run with this story much. Now, let's have a listen to Zoe Daniel, who's an independent from Melbourne, putting the question to Communications Minister Michelle Rowland on Thursday.
For Communications, in the context of the current inquiry into online gambling reform, could the Minister confirm reports that Sportsbet paid for a campaign dinner and made a second large donation to her campaign before the election? Could the responsible Minister explain how such a donation is not a conflict of interest, with an inquiry on foot and deep community concern about online gambling and gambling advertising, both under her portfolio?
Give the call to the Minister for Communications.
I thank the member for her question. I have and will continue to comply with the disclosure requirements of the AEC, the Register of Members' Interests and the Ministerial Code of Conduct. The rules for disclosures must be complied with by every member of this place. On harm minimisation, my record and Labor's, both in opposition and in government, is strong. We are committed to reducing harms from online gambling, and we are implementing a national self-exclusion register.
Now, given Michelle Rowland ducked and weaved there, refused to answer the question in relation to bias or perceived bias, there was a motion to force her to answer the question, and we'll listen to what Zoe Daniel had to say in relation to that motion.
Is this okay? Are we okay with members of this place receiving these kinds of donations from companies who prey on the most poor and vulnerable in our community, and not only that, our young people? I have a deep concern, and so do many members of my community, about the normalisation of gambling among our teenagers through online gambling and particularly through Sportsbet's broadcast advertising. These are the kinds of things that the inquiry is looking at. This is the kind of policy that the Minister is going to have to make decisions on. The Minister needs to take this seriously. The Minister needs to explain this, not just to this House, to the Australian people.
Now, it's my understanding the motion was defeated. The government, along with opposition, got together and defeated that motion, which is odd. Why would the opposition join with the government to defeat that motion? Because they themselves raise a lot of money in donations from the gambling industry, which shows you how corrupt it is. Now, this issue isn't going to die. The independents and others will push it, the minor parties, because really Michelle Rowland's position is untenable. She has to go. The issues were raised. They were raised in Parliament. She was given an opportunity to respond to the perceived bias and the actual bias. Well, not actual bias at this point, but that's one of the issues that a federal ICAC could and should investigate. And it gives you an indication why Elbow did his dirty deal with Peter Dutton and in relation to the federal ICAC, and made sure there are no public hearings except for in exceptional circumstances, because he knew, Albo knew, that corruption issues would raise their head. And this is the sort of issue that should and could go to a federal ICAC, but the National Anti-Corruption Commission, but the chances of them having a public hearing on the issue are probably zero. The timing of this scandal for Albo could not be worse as well. Also, the New South Wales Labor government, because the New South Wales Labor government, especially their leader, Chris Minns, is perceived to be in the hip pocket of the pokie industry in New South Wales, the clubs industry. And they've been exposed for funneling something like $6 billion worth of corrupt money, laundering it annually. And that's been exposed, and there's been a big push on to try and stamp that out. And Chris Minns has been exposed for being in the gambling industry's pocket, and he is very tentative to push for regulations to stamp out that money laundering. So Michelle Rowland being exposed for being on the hook of the gambling industry is bad timing, not only for Albo, but also Chris Minns, because they got that perception now nationally that they're in the pocket of the gambling industry, the Labor Party, that is. Anyhow, I'll follow this up. I'm sure the issue is not going to go away. It's going to be a huge issue. I can't really see Michelle Rowland surviving. The Labor Party MPs and ministers and Albo, if they're going to come out and support Michelle Rowland, they're not going to help her. She's gone. She had an opportunity to respond and she didn't. If they're going to use some of their political capital to try and save her, all they're going to do is damage their own reputations. So Anthony Albanese should act and act fast. And like I said, I have to wonder whether the other media companies like News Corp and Seven are going to push this issue very much. And I wonder if the Nine Entertainment reporter who broke the story, I wonder if they'll try and silence him. So make sure you share this video on Facebook, Twitter, etc. And Kangaroo Court of Australia is independent media, so please support my Patreon account. You can donate any amount, $3, $5, $10, $15, $20 a month. It all helps out. Other than that, thank you for your time and have a good day.